From the heartbeat of the Republic, this is the PAWA podcast. Be powerful. Bringing you independent voices, expert opinion, driving change.
Hello and welcome to the PAWA Pod, the Mjue MCA Wako series, episode number 5, part 2. We are continuing with our conversation with Habib Omar, and we want to start off with the roles of the MCA. And in connection to, after that, we are going to discuss your manifestos. So we want to see how the roles of the MCA, how you've connected your manifestos to the same. Let's start with the roles.
Thank you so much, Mala Daniel Odhiambo, aka Habib Omar kijana wa mtaa, once again back. With the devolution in place, the MCA has the same role as member of parliament. So basically, the three major roles of the MCA is representation, oversight, and legislation. Representation in a way that not all of us can be in county assembly. That is why we elect one person to be able to represent us. This is a person who need also to be most of the time consulting with us, getting to understand our areas of needs and representing us within the county assembly. When it comes to oversight, authority is being able to hold the executive and even the governor accountable and ensure that the resources that has been distributed and or allocated to various projects are used properly. Yeah, and also in terms of now the legislation is informing, coming up with policies, credible policies that will go forth in terms of addressing the issues ailing your people.
So competence will contribute somewhere.
Yeah, competency will be able to contribute. Are you very conversant? Because there's also element. Are you conversant with the laws, both international laws? Are you also conversant with county bylaws, all that?
Yeah.
So you're not, it's all about getting to understand what needs to be done.
Yeah, true.
Bit of it, yeah. And also, yes, bit of it, I've just touched on the major three ones.
Yeah.
And there also the element they can be able to initiate an impeachment motion against the governor. Also at the same time, the people who approve the budget, they determine. And bit of it because majority of Kenyans also at most of the time do not even understand the roles of the MCA. Utakwambia ni kujenga barabara. The role of MCA si kujenga barabara. Maybe the best he can do is able to lobby. Beyond lobbying, ensure that the funds that have been allocated to construct a certain road or development are used. That road is constructed to the required standard, which most of the time is not even the case. Yeah. So those are not the road. There is no anywhere that MCA is directly linked to service delivery.
But if he approves the budget, of course he'll have, in a way, he's contributed to how the road will come up.
Yes, but not directly. Okay. Yeah, that element of interference, and because they're also avoiding the element of corruption and backkick. Yeah. But that is not even the case. Because there is no way today, if I'm involved directly, you are the contractor, and I'm the person who should be holding you accountable and ensuring that you construct this road to the required standard. Definitely, there will be a lot of biasness in between, and that also go contrary to the chapter 6 of the Constitution that we were talking about. Conflict of interest. So to avoid it, bit of it is just to ensure after lobbying, ensure that you do your oversight authority. When it becomes the issues of water, issues of waste management, all is how do you also hold, because within the ward level we have ward administrator, and at sub-county level we have sub-county ward administrator. So how do you time and time ensure that also these people do their work and ensure that service delivery to the people is very effective? Yeah.
Okay. So I want us to talk about your manifesto, but on how they relate to your ward and what you're planning to do different to, or rather in comparison to the current MCA of the ward.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we have been in this community and we have been organizing, but there's little we can do outside the government. So we want to go where decisions are being made and be able to inform policies. But beyond being a believer of social justice, equity, fairness, I also believe in good leadership. And I believe that good leadership is the recipe of good governance. And not unless we rise to the occasion and contest in election election and offer our people better leadership, we are still going to experience poor leadership, which as a result will have so many stagnant community development. But as we said, I believe the people of Kariobangi deserve a leader of purpose, a leader with a vision for the community, a leader that have a heart of people, a leader with priority who will be able to prioritize community needs at the right cause, and a leader who is committed to serve humanity in a dignified way. That is the leader Kariobangi is needing. A leader who will be able to come up with credible legislation. A leader who is also very conversant, live with the people, understand their issues.
So are you saying the current leader lack all those elements that you're talking about?
Whatever we are lacking, because we are lacking that proper representation. And that is what informed my first agenda. And in my manifesto is proper representation. As I said earlier, all of us cannot be in county assembly. That is why we elect one representative. You're not going there to represent, like me, Habib Omar. I'm not going there to represent myself or represent my issues. I'm going to represent the issues affecting the people. So how do I represent them? It is not by, I need to consult with them. I need to be having meetings where we can be able to discuss all these things.
Very true.
But in unlike representation is not maybe whether you meet people in Arambe, you just pop up, either uko kwa Arambe, or either umekam ku initiate.
Not showing up like an...
And now that is where you want to discuss the issues affecting people. Proper representation is consulting with people, meeting with people, having this conversation. So in terms of that proper representation, for I to be able to ensure that my people get proper representation, first of all is to come up with what we call, we will be able to form a consultative ward committee. This committee will be able to help us in terms of organizing ward assemblies, where we'll be able to entrench public participation. Because when we talk about the element of public participation, for us to be able to develop what we call CIDP report, County Integrated Development Plan, for a 5-year plan, members need to participate. But people do not even participate in those public in any processes. And as much as we also doing, we need to have ward public participation. But currently we are having public participation are held at sub-county level, which in most cases people do not participate. So how do we create that committee that will enable us to be able to organize this, and then ensure that monthly we have county monthly ward assemblies. This is where because in Kariobangi we have 10 cells. So within these 10 cells, this is where we'll be consulting with people, listening to their issues, giving them updates on what is happening within the county assembly, sharing information about available opportunities, be it within the private or public sector, so that people can also be aware and being conversant with whatever is happening. But also at the same time, to be able to represent people, we will also be having annual events. Because from where I come from, Kariobangi, we are so, as much as it's a cosmopolitan community, we are so divided along ethnic groups. And 2007, 2008, we were worst hit by post-election violence. A bit of 2017, we did something by bringing all the aspirants together and signing peace accord.
And how is the situation right now as you do the campaigns towards the elections?
Right now, because of the engagement that we had, we are still finding a way, trying to, only that now I'm vying, but working with other different people to see how also best, how do we go around the community and spread the message of peace? How do we continuously engage our people? So for us, that is how we'll be able to enable that proper representation to our people. That is my manifesto. That is my agenda number 1 to the great people of Kariobangi. Because through that is when people will be able to, we can also be able to entrench the element of good governance. Because I believe there's nothing for us without us. So people must participate.
True.
And to me, at the center of it all is the people. So how do we ensure that our people own the leadership? People are very conversant. If it is all about the road, they need to be aware on which criteria was a certain contractor awarded this tender. What is the budget allocation in this road? And for how long are we going to construct this road? That will only happen if we have proper representation and through initiative of bringing people to enable them participate in all this.
Let me just ask a a funny question. So I'm trying to think like someone from Kariobangi or somewhere else. So I get to know this was the budget that was allocated, but maybe it's substandard. So what? Yes, nishajua. Your information inanisaidia na nini?
Information is power. With that information, you can be able to hold the duty bearers accountable.
And take action.
And take action. Yeah. Because like right now, I can tell you we have, there is Vumbi Road in Kariobangi that was started a bit last year. Up to date, the road is not yet complete. So we don't know even who to question, because there was also confusion in between when NMS came into place. So it was initially it was started by World Development Fund, now the Nairobi County, and then the NMS took it. But up to date, they are yet to complete the road. And it was also constructed, it is a very substandard road. So how do we hold that? Who are we going to hold accountable without that information? But with clear information and knowing the contractor and knowing the amount that was allocated and going through the BQ, you can be able to understand and get, and also be able to now do the social auditing, knowing that this is what was to be put in place, but this is what we have. But right now, how do you question it without even getting to understand? Even the members of public do not know about it.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That was agenda number 1.
That is agenda number 1, representation. In terms of number 2, as much as when we talk is now focusing on issues of environment conservation and proper waste management. Because right now, when you go to Kariobangi, waste has been disposed all along the roads within the residential area. And in certain areas is within the rivers. And this is a result of lack of enough trucks to collect
the garbage. Yeah.
And also proper coordination between young people doing garbage and county government or NMS in this case. So we need to have, because at the end of the day, we understand what improper waste management problem that it caused. We also will be able to have unclog sewer lines. We also diseases in terms of place. So what are the mechanisms in terms of this? I'll be able to lay mechanism. Number 1 is to ensure that we have enough trucks, that each ward can be allocated 1 truck, because currently one ward, one single truck is serving the entire constituency, the 5 wards, which is not at the same time is not enough. So, and if you see the amount of money Nairobi County government was wasting in terms of contracting private waste collectors, that money can be channeled in terms of buying more trucks. Because once you allocate, in financial year 1, when we allocate truck to 1 ward, these people will be able to connect, because we only have 10 cells. So in a span of a week, you can connect 2 cells, plan yourself with the garbage collectors and ensure as they take the garbage out from the households, they take it directly to the trucks, rather than dumping alongside the road. Because also at the same time, we don't even have what we call, because most of the time when trucks are not there, we must have what we have, rather than dumping along the roadside, we have holding grounds. So we live in a society where we have grab everywhere. So there is no any public space we can be able to use as a holding ground for the garbage before the truck can come. So, but I don't think we don't need even the holding ground. We just need timely collection of the garbage with the viability of trucks to enable us. Then secondly is how do we build the capacity of youth-led group and CBOs working on the issues of waste management, because right now they're not equipped, they're not even conversant in terms of how do they conserve even the environment. So those are the elements we're also looking. And another thing is how do we adapt and apply the 3 R's of how do we recycle, how do we reduce, and how do we reuse. So, but that can only be done if we build the capacity of young people, where they also can be able. It's also they say garbage is gold. It's also one way of also creating job opportunities among them.
I agree with you.
And also then another thing is initiating monthly cleanups. And this is where we also use the opportunity to be able to create awareness and sensitize the community on the importance of environmental conservation. Because issues of environment is a collective responsibility. Ukitoa ile takataka kwa nyumba yako, how are you responsible with it? Ama utaitupa tu huko. You see? And also how, because the element has also been these young people engaging in garbage. Saa zingine mtu anakataa kuwapatia ile 20 bob. Reason being, umetoa nyumba kwa takataka yangu, umenitupia hapo kwa barabara. Mbona mimi nisiichukue tu directly nitupe pale? So with
you haven't done anything.
you haven't done anything, but if you take it from my house and then at the end of the day it's taken to the dump site, at least a bit of it, I'll also see the need of giving you that 20 shillings. And in one way or another, if we have proper mechanism in place, availability of trucks, timely collection of garbage, we also have increased the income of these young people engaging in
garbage
collection. But in as far also issues of environment is concerned, we cannot get out of there without talking about climate change, which is also a global issue. So how do we also start conversation around it? How can we also be able to inform a policy, introduce a policy on mitigation and adoption when it comes to issues of climate change? Because we understand the effects of climate change.
But do you think the people of Kariobangi North are directly feeling the effects of climate change, or rather the other issues that they are facing?
People are facing it because even currently you can also see the change in weathers, in weather and in climate change, because which month yenye watu walikuwa unalala bila nguo because of joto ni mingi sana. There's also a lot of floods in between that also affect even the Nairobi,
their houses,
and also the element, because our water is coming from Ndakaini. So when there is that reduction in terms of water, it is as a result of our actions as a human being. So it's a conversation that we must start having, not only as a county government, but as a country as a whole, so that also the community can be able to be conversant and understand what is climate change. Because to them, they may not even be able to understand. Because even right now, we are disposing waste into chemicals and waste into the rivers. Angalia Nairobi River vile inakaa.
I think it's not a complicated topic, but it's a very relevant topic that people need to start speaking about, because if you ask anyone out here, not anyone, like a majority of people about climate change, that is the least of their concerns. Mtu anakuambia I'll think about climate, ama nitafikiria njaa, ama nitafikiria job, but it's a very important conversation.
Because it's also related to food security. So it's a conversation we must start having holistically, and see how all also this is connected to the problems we are facing on a day-to-day. Our day-to-day engagement and activities.
Now to the other money.
The other thing is about issues of water and sanitation. As much as access to clean and safe, adequate water in quantity is a right as enshrined in Article 43 of the Constitution, to us is like a favor, because we are faced with perennial water shortage. We get water twice
per week,
twice a week. The rest of the day.
And is it do you buy the water, ma? It's just flowing?
No, you buy it. You buy it, because as much as it comes, it is not all houses. Not all houses are connected to piped water. And then secondly, not all houses are getting this water. So people will spend a lot of time, even at late hours, looking for water. Or these leave us in a way where we depend on catals to be able to buy water from them. And at the same time, you also don't know the condition of this water that you're buying. So in the process, we get... So we must ensure our people get water.
So free water, you want to allocate them?
The essence, the way I'm looking into it is how do we collaborate with landlords and ensure all the households are connected with piped water, so that at the end of the day, even if we'll get it twice a week, everybody can be able to access this water. It is affordable, it is easily accessible to. How also do we also, in terms of now with the population in place, how do we also revamp and ensure that we have new piping in place that can be able to serve now the larger population? And how do we also do away with the catals, which I think is a very sensitive discussion, but we must deal with these issues.
Do you think you'll be able to do away with them? From where you are standing? From where
and I'm standing, yes, we can be able to do away with them. Once the waters are connected, each household is connected with water. What is the business of you buying water from catals? And as much as we talk about, because the conversation always has been when it comes to the issue of water, is the low water level in either Nakaini Dam and all that. So when you look at the table, water table within Nairobi, it's not that deep. So how do we dig more boreholes and treat this water and ensure that our people can also be able to get it? Those are just mechanisms that we can be able to devise. But because issue of perennial water shortage is not just a problem within Kariobangi. It's a problem that is affecting all the 85 wards. So it's very easy for you to be able to lobby and rally your fellow members of county assembly for us to be able to ensure that we get a lasting solution to the perennial water shortage.
Please do that for us. Tunaumia huku. We can continue.
So when we talk about another element is how do we also look into the issue of health? One, I'll start with the CHV because they're called, it is just by design, they're called community health volunteers.
Yeah.
These people do a lot of work. They inform most of the data within the government, but they go without pay. So we must introduce the CHV Policy Act to ensure that they change the name from community health volunteers to workers.
Yeah, true.
People as much, they also can be paid if it is also even a stipend. Because there has been a conversation, I think from now 2 years down the line, the policy of CHVs have never even seen the light of the day, and they were to be given a stipend. So this is the first thing that we must be able to push, because these people have played a very critical role in terms of devolving health services and ensuring that mwananchi wa kawaida pale chini understand what get the services and also be helped in terms of getting access to all these health services. So they play a very critical role, not only in the element of health, but in terms of addressing all the community problems. So that is the first thing. Secondly, right now in Kariobangi, funny enough, maternity wing has been turned to a hall. It is not operating.
Why?
I don't know. It was constructed back when even when we were under Kasarani. Not only right now we are in Embakasi North after the element of devolution, but it's not functional. We have an hospital that is not even operating 24 hours. You go to hospital. Recently, I went there. At the end of the day, there is no drugs. Unaenda pale unapanga line unakuwa the whole day, and then the element tukishafika daktari amekuona nakwambia kuna dawa endo ununue kwa chemistry. This has discouraged our people to go to hospital, and majority wanaenda kwa either chemistry. And kwa chemistry anaenda bila prescription. So that is a problem that we must also be able to address to ensure that our hospitals are well equipped. We have enough staffs. We have enough drugs, because these people pay tax. We pay taxes, and they must get that services. We must have a 24-hour on any operating health facility, a standby ambulance, because it becomes a problem. The health facility operates from Monday to Friday. So what the rest of the day, and at the same time daktari moja anaona patient 80. Mtu amechoka. They cannot be able even to,
they're not productive.
They're not even productive and effective in terms of service delivery. So these are the things that we must look into place, and also ensure on the issue of also non-communicable disease, because it's also a problem that nobody is talking about. Cancer is a bigger challenge in this country, but nobody's even having a conversation.
Is it a problem in Kariobangi?
It is a problem. We have a lot of cancer survivors within the ward. And there's a lady called Millicent Kakonga. She's a survivor, and she has been playing that critical role in advocating for their rights and ensuring that they get health services.
Maybe you can give us a conclusion of your manifesto, because I can see time.
So with time, another focus is also on the issue of economic. How do we empower young people? How do we create job opportunities? How do we take advantage of their talents and create a space for them and create that opportunity for them? And how also, because there's also element of government affirmative funds that are available. How do we ensure that our people can be able to access this? How do we initiate programs? Because some of us, for us to be where we are today, is because of mentorship, it is because of empowerment, it is because of various trainings that we have gone through, that we can also be able to to be alive to the issues affecting the community, take action, but at the same time be innovative enough to be able, as we solve the problem, we can also be able to put food on the table. So those are the things that we are looking into. How do we tap into our talents, the talents of young people, where I can be able to initiate monthly tournaments. This I can do from my pocket, and from there we can be able to scout these talents.
That is important.
Yeah, that is also the important. You look into the social hall. There was a reason these things were called social hall. Is in a very depleted institution. How do we have that modernized social hall where we can be able to install art and innovative hub? Because also with the issue of digitalization of everything, where young people can come get so many skills, enhance their talents, and also grow. You want to produce music, you can be able to have a space where you can be able to produce music. You want to access government services, online services, there's a place where you can go and be able to access all these things. So all these things, and also be able to reduce the cost of doing business in Nairobi. Because we don't want a situation where I come from Kariobangi right now, stalls, people are, that stalls and business are being shut down because they have not been able to pay the levies and the taxes. But this is as a result of COVID-19, effects of COVID-19. So how do we change our laws to be able to create a conducive environment where our people can be able to do business? Because what Kenyans need is not handouts. They need just that conducive environment to enable them do their business and thrive in and grow. And that is the environment we need to create, be it from the boda sector, mama mboga, all that perspective. Because saizi hata kuingia na bodata au uwezi ingia nayo. Uwezi totally, you cannot, because of the harassment and being harassed up and down. Mpaka wale watu wako kwa street, how do we find mechanisms of helping them rather than kushika mama anatafuta. And the way the county askari beats them. By the way, we need to sanitize. We must sanitize Nairobi County Assembly and those askaris so that they can be able also understand the element of human.
I'm actually surprised no one has ever spoken about that issue. Sometimes you see like mama ametafuta ndimu zake anauza. I'm not saying they do that. Yeah, you can come up with a solution, but there's a better way of doing it rather than just the chaos that they cause and the distraction.
Yeah, at the end of the day, because wacha nikwambie Nairobi, hata fadhali ushikwe na polisi, lakini si askari wa kanjo. The inhumane way, the torture, the things those people do to
people, it's ugly.
It's very ugly.
Yeah, true.
So we must change. We must make Nairobi work, turn things around upside down, and bring the element of how do we also respect human rights and the dignity. People must live in dignity.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So those just are simple in terms of how we are looking into this. And but I cannot also be able to finish without saying and how are people going to hold me accountable?
Yeah, that was actually my other question. So maybe you can speak briefly about it, just briefly. And then
so in all this, we also must ensure we have a transparent and accountable leadership. So I'll just ensure we do my oversight authority well, responsibility well, by ensuring that resources that have been allocated are used and utilized in a proper way. But secondly, the only way I can be able to be held accountable is one, information is power. Putting everything open, be it information about developments and all things, they'll be made available to people, public, so that they can also be able to scrutinize and also understand. But for me also to be able to, us to realize that is through all this public engagement, consulting, being there with the people most of the time. So they are aware, and you work with them through that process of whatever is happening, from the community level to county level and from county back to the community level.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe tell us two of your challenges, or rather two things that you've experienced while doing your campaigns and this process of trying to run for the seats.
One,
in brief.
Yes, one as a young person. I believe we don't have, when it comes to politics, we only have men and women. But nobody's talking about youth.
Yeah.
So you are disadvantaged as a young person vying and you don't have money.
Yeah.
Actually, the element of money and resources. And maybe you're not experienced, you don't have the capacity in terms of knowing how to navigate your way. So actually...
Is that the reason, the reason you decided to run as an independent candidate?
running as an independent candidate, one, is a right within the constitution. Yeah, it's a right.
Yeah.
Then secondly, I don't believe, as I've said, there is no democracy in these political parties. Yeah. And in fact, to me, we don't have political parties. Yeah. So that is the element why I dissociate myself not vying. I knew very well the power belongs to the people. So I'll go directly to the people, seek that mandate to lead them. Yeah. Rather than political parties, bit of it. But at the same time, political party, bit of ties your hand that you cannot be able, you owe allegiance to
The party.
the party and the owner of the party.
Yeah.
So you go the direction. You saw when we were initiating, bringing NMS into place. MCAs, all the MCAs were called at State House and compelled by their party leaders to support something. But now as independent, you owe your allegiance. You have that freedom to the opportunity. But we have a problem because Kenyans are still not ready for that change that we are yearning for and want to see.
But it's good that you're trying. You never
yeah,
know
they're
the
not
outcome.
electing leaders. We are not being judged based on our ideas, ideologies, competency, and what we are bringing on the table.
Yeah.
We are being judged on the either handouts, tribe, and that political party. So those are the things that we're facing within the when we are doing our campaigns. Then the challenge. Yes, so there's a lot of challenges we go through as young people. That element of money, resources. Not having enough resources, not having that support. As much as you're very conversant, you're very competent, your manifesto speaks for itself and is something that is achievable and realistic. Kenyans are still a bit back, but we're not losing hope. We're hoping for the best. Yeah, we'll keep on knocking the doors with our message of hope and message of liberation and transformation until, I believe, as time goes by, people are also waking up, and there are also that silent majority, people who are going to determine the direction this election is going to take.
Very true. And that's why PAWA is actually in support of young people. We are giving you the platform to come and talk about your leadership styles, your manifestos, and what you plan to do for your community. So do not feel hopeless. There are people who are behind you as you try to make our country better. Yeah. So thank you, Habib Omar, for agreeing to come to the table to speak out your mind and speak out your view on this on the aspiration to be the MCA of Kariobangi North. We wish you all the best. Thank you also to our listeners for tuning in and also taking your time to listen to our young aspirants. I hope this will help you make better decisions even as you await for August 9th of August. Let us make right and sane decisions that will impact our lives not only today but in the next 5 years. Thank you so much. Follow the conversation and more of this on our social media platforms. I've been your host, Angeline Gitonga.
From the heartbeat of the Republic, this is the PAWA Podcast. Be powerful.